Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Josh with photographytipshq.com, and today we're going to be editing a landscape photo in Lightroom 5. So I took the shot a few weeks back while I was on vacation, and wanted to just kind of do a quick tutorial with how to take this to this. As you can see, the colors are a lot more vibrant, and the details um, are a lot more apparent, including the sky and just within the trees and stuff. So um, let's just jump right in here. The first thing you probably recognize is that the photo is actually kind of dark, and the reason for that is I wanted to make sure not to completely blow out the sky and still have enough in the photo to be able to bring some of the details of the clouds out, as well as bring some of the details in the trees out. Now, ideally, you could do like an HDR photo, um, take multiple exposures, but I was on a hike with my family and didn't have my tripod with me, so we're gonna just work with this one here. So first thing I'm gonna do is just bump up the exposure about um, 0.15 right there, and I like to take the contrast up a bit, and that can kind of be based on your opinion, what you want how contrasty you want your photo to be. So what I'm going to do with the highlights slider here is I'm going to drop it way down, and we're going to bring the highlights back with a brush to the rest of the image. But if we try to bring the highlights out in the sky with the brush, we're going to get a lot of what's called like a halo effect within the trees, and it just looks like the image is kind of breaking down. It just makes it look bad. So we're going to drop the highlights here, and you're going to see the sky is going to slowly come into play here, and the sky looks awesome. So now our photo's a little bit dark, but we'll just continue on with these global settings and bump the shadows up about plus 31 there. Take the whites up a bit. Take the blacks up. All right. The clarity on a photo like this, I like to put the clarity pretty high. Again, it can be your preference. The vibrance will go about plus 10 or so. And you see I put my mouse right on the number, and then I move left or right. You can get kind of fine tune it that way. Saturation will just go about plus 5. We don't want to oversaturate here, but we do want these colors to be pretty vibrant, and we want them to pop. So especially in the rocks here, I like the different reds and oranges and yellows. So with the tone curve here, I'm just going to hit the medium contrast, and then you scrolling down to lens correction. I always just go ahead and enable both these. Okay, so photo's looking pretty good. It's still a little bit dark within the trees and in the water here. So we're going to click the brush over here, and it's already on highlights, but you can click highlights. We're just going to bump this up to about 80, 85, and I have my density at 80. And if you want to be able to see exactly where you're painting with your brush, you hit O on your keyboard. And what that's going to do is it turns on the selected mask overlay. It's going to show you exactly where you're painting, and you're going to see it turns pink. So we're going to just paint this whole area. What we're going to do is not touch the sky. And I want to stay away from that hillside over there as well, because I actually want to darken that up a bit. I don't like how light it is, so just paint this all in here. Remember, what we're doing is we're just bringing back those highlights that we dropped down in the global settings to get the sky to look good, get some of the detail and texture from those clouds. Make sure we get every area. All right. It's looking pretty good. Okay, now if you hit Z on your keyboard, you'll zoom in. If you hold down the space bar on your keyboard, this little hand appears, and you can grab with your mouse, just click, and then you can adjust the size with your mouse wheel. You can adjust the size of the brush. I'm just using a magic mouse, so I just slide my finger up or down to change the size. Again, we're just going to kind of work this tree line a little bit more. You can zoom in even further over here in the corner. You got 4:1. You can get in nice and close if you want. You can see each pixel at that point. I was reading the latest ebook recently from digital photography school called Living Landscapes, and the guy makes a really good point in that book that we live in a pretty unique time, kind of a time like no other, where we can create and snap photos that look exactly like how our eye sees them, due to technology and post-production. And it's a really great book. I will put a link down below if you are interested in checking it out. It's got lots of great tips on landscape photography. Getting these trees here. One thing he talks about in that book is how editing is kind of like putting the mud on sheetrock, and how you don't do everything all at once. You just do one layer at a time, and you do a little bit, you let it dry, you sand it off, and the same is true with editing photos. You just do a little bit here and there, just little subtle changes. You'll find if you hit plus or minus on your keyboard, it will increase or decrease the edge masking. So it'll kind of help you color within the lines. Crank that up here. The good thing is if you go out of the lines, if you get if you paint an area that you're not wanting to paint, all you got to do is hit the Alt Option key, and it switches your brush from a plus to a minus, and it switches it to the erase function here. So you can click it if you want to take the time. But it's much easier to just hold the Alt key. It's a lot quicker. Paint this one in real quick here. Oops. Again, just hit that Alt Option key, and turn that brush to erase if you go out of the lines. Your hotkeys on your keyboard are definitely going to help speed up how long it takes you to edit your photos. Highly recommend learning as many of those hotkeys as you can. All right, and I could spend all day doing this, so you get the idea, though. All right, so this hillside over here, I want to get these trees up here a little bit better. Okay. That mountain right in there. Okay. All right, so then this hillside, what we're going to do is we're going to hit New. As you can see, it definitely brought some life back to the photo. Go like here. And you can, while you have this brush selected, I mean, we could bump the highlights up even higher if we wanted. So there are a few things left I still want to address here. I want to just darken this hillside a little bit, and I want to brighten up this corner here. So we're going to go into the brush here, and it says burn, which is darken. Oh, so what I forgot to do there was click New. So I'm going to Command Z, undo, then I'm going to hit New, go to burn. There we go. Now my highlights won't get all dark. Just want to darken that hillside up just a little bit. Okay, again, click New. Dodge, we're going to lighten. I just want to kind of brighten this corner up some. So, okay, and there's one other thing I'd like to do. I'll hit New. We're going to do the burn setting again. We're just going to darken these trees here. I just think it helps the detail pop out a little bit better. So again, if you hit O on your keyboard, you can see exactly where you've painted. I don't recall doing that. So we can take care of that with Alt. Okay. I also want to, so we'll hit New. I also want to darken up the log a little bit and see if we can't just pull a few more details out of it. So there, again, a lot of these things are just, they're subtle changes. They're not going to be real drastic, but it's just going to help bring out detail. Got a little out of the lines here, so clean that up. Clean that up. All right. Okay, and there you have it, guys. We've taken a shot that looked like this to this. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and If you wouldn't mind, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.